Hey guys, it's Mistress Nightmare here. Today we'll be reading a story called Property, a Tiki Toby love story. I hope you guys like this story. Please hit that like button, comment, subscribe to this channel if you guys want more creepypasta fanfictions out there. Until then, let's get started. The first time you felt like someone was watching you was when you were walking home from school. Of course, you brushed it off. There was plenty of people outside, so it wouldn't surprise you if you were caught someone else's attention. But the person that you caught was someone you really didn't want the attention from. As weeks went by, you still had that feeling of being watched, brushing it off as nothing, as you would shiver or shift around, but never fully think on it. Soon you started noticing little details that weren't really have bugged you before, like how the window would always be a crack open just a little bit when you woke up, even though you clearly remember closing it when you went to bed. Or how when some of your clothes have gone missing, especially your underwear. A month went on, but you were certain that you had yourself a stalker. The first time you told the police, they brushed you off, saying that they couldn't help, but there was no evidence, but you were being stalked. You became paranoid more and more after the month went by, and gifts and letters started showing up around your house. The letters started off sweet enough to start with. Gifts were also sweet as well, but still the area you found them were disturbing you. When you got out of the shower, you will find a letter on the sink, moist from the steam you had emitted from the shower. When you woke up, you will find a small box sitting on your bed. Sooner or later, it got darker and the gifts became morbid. You didn't want to begin explaining or experiencing it, but one day you opened one of the gifts. You found a poor dead bird with its head carved onto its chest, the letter saying, "You're beautiful when you are sleeping." Whoever this guy was stalking you to, you did not know. You're mine. You're not allowed to talk to other men. And of course, it's disturbing. That one made your skin crawl when you saw Missy scribble on the words on the paper. You're mine, 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 mine. No one else. I will kill any man that talks to you, looks at you, or even touches you. I'll be coming soon to show you just how much I love you. The words were scribbled mess with spots of red dots everywhere, here and there, torn from hard from the person that was writing and scribbling his message. You shivered and attempted to call the police again, but same thing told you that the worst thing could happen if you did. As your stalker had said, he will kill any man that talks to you, looks to you, or even talks to you. Half of your male friends were found in the woods once rainy morning, their bodies hung from trees, with their internals strewed all over in an odd fashion that will remind you of someone trying to throw tinsels on a Christmas tree. You avoided people like the plague, fear of anyone else getting killed. You were losing more and more sleep, believing that every noise you heard was your stalker coming to show his love. One morning you woke up agonizing in pain after falling asleep. On your back was burned horribly, as if it was on fire. Your sheets were stained with red, and also black pajama shirt was drenched into your bathroom. You pulled off the bloody clothes off, reaching around your arm on your back the best you could. You turned your head to the side to look at the mirror. Your throat clenched, your eyes widened. You stared at the red insignia symbol, the words carved onto your back. In the middle of the back of your back was a circle and an X. through the word proxy of Toby was sloppily written above the circle. You know your stalker's name was Toby. A normal name belonging to a deranged person believing you were his. Moving, adjusting, causing it, disturbing it would make you cry in pain as the blood leaked throughout down your back. You didn't go to school that day, or any other day for that matter. In reality, you quit going altogether, keeping all the doors and windows closed and locked, not leaving unless it's necessary. The school called because of your absence, and of course you answered while listening to the principal as she demanded to speak to your parents. You always hang up, laughing bitterly that your parents were in another country having their time of their lives, while you were stuck here suffering from what you call hell. You stayed awake for nearly 24 hours, 7. You always kept the TV on, but muted. Jump when the sudden noise one day you gave in your stomach growled as it was begging it to be fed. Even though there was no more food in the house, you left your money and stuff in your pocket as you walked down the streets. Silently cowered through the sidewalk with your hood up. Strangely, you didn't have the feeling of eyes boring on your back anymore. Straightening up your posture, you kept walking. Maybe he'd given up on me, he thought, with a small smile gracing your lips for the first time in forever. You did not know how wrong you were when you walked back to the house, with few plastic bags clutched tightly in your hands, filled with microwave dinners that would last you a while. You noticed something odd. The front door was unlocked. The plant that had the spare key was tipped over. You brushed it off as you forgot to lock the front door in your quest to get food. That stray cat probably knocked over the plant. You were determined minded that your stalker was gone, since you haven't felt eyes on you boring into you at all. The minute you entered the house, closed the door and locked it tightly. In the process, your back started to throb painfully. Everything was off. The living room of the house eerily silent. The sun was outside, just beginning to set, since you just had left in the midday. You took your time coming home. The next thing you noticed, a strange ticking sound, once you never heard before. Once you began to brush it off as something electrical, something messing up, you tried to tell yourself in a weird way that you needed to fix it. The ticking sound echoed through the house. The sound like it was coming from the distance as it bounces off the walls, setting the bags of groceries down on the floor. You stepped forward, wincing as you heard your shoes make a light sound. The button made a clicking with the wooden floor. After a while, you continue walking further into the house, checking the bottom floor for any sign where the sound was coming from. You found nothing and soon headed upstairs, going slowly, creaking louder under your weight. Your heart was thumping a million miles per second as it was ready to rip itself out of your chest and crawl away. The thing is, it was making you nervous. Your back throbbed painfully. More importantly, your wounds that was scratched over was throbbing. Reaching the top steps, you walked to the small hallway, stopping in front of your room, where the ticking got louder. You stood outside for the white door, swallowed thickly as you heard muffled sounds around it. Slowly, the sound of dressers being pulled open, something or someone rummaging through them, searching for something. Taking a deep breath, you grabbed the handle and slowly opening the door, hoping to prove yourself wrong, that no one was there. You were wrong. So horribly wrong. Near your dresser stood a boy with his back turned towards you. He wore a brown hoodie with light brown stripes on the sleeves and the blue hood. His jeans were covered. Jeans and Converse that are attached to either side. of him with 2 hatchets that looked scraped and worn out. Dried blood cracked over them. The boy was rummaging through the top dresser. More importantly, your underwear drawer. You stayed silent and watched in horror as he raised one of your undergarments up and brought it up to his nostrils and took a deep breath, smelling as much as he could. You shivered as you watched him, and delight continued to do it again before stopping and turning towards you to face you. Insane brown eyes hidden behind yellow tinted goggles, stared at you, mouth agape. That made him look like he was smiling over his mouth. Bringing a gloved hand up to it, pulling off the mouth guard down, and gave you a crooked smile, pushing up his goggles to show his eyes shining with affection as he stared at you. "There you are," he said with a cool voice. His body twitched, creating the ticking sound you heard earlier. Who are you?" you stammered, taking a step back, as you eyed him suspiciously. "Don't you recognize me?" He seemed to grow frustrated very quickly. "I'm here to show you how much I love you," he said, his lips tugged upward into a smirk. You looked up at him and down as he said those words. The name's Toby. Come in your mind as you remembered the name carved onto your back. This was your stalker. The reason why you didn't feel eyes on him boring into you today, because he was too busy getting his fill and playing with your undergarments. You shivered at the hungry look he gave you before turning on your heels and running. "Hey, come back here," he suddenly roared loudly as you heard footsteps closing in behind you. As you raced down the stairs, turned towards the front door and grabbed the knob, twisting it, not paying attention as you were pushed and slammed into the wooden door. "What?" you questioned, your eyes widened as you twisted the handle and found it locked. You remembered you had locked it once you came inside, quickly turning the locked handle. You heard the boy stomping down the stairs. Fiddling with the lock, you finally got it, but just as you were about to open the door a little way open, a gloved hand slammed it shut, an arm wrapped around itself tightly around your waist. You shivered as you felt a warm breath on your ear. "That wasn't very nice of you, just to up and run like that," the boy breathed out. His warm breath caused your ear to tingle. You shook violently in his grip. "I think you need punishment," he said, nipping at your ear before moving his mouth down your neck, where you can feel his warm breath as he breathed on your skin, pulling a gloved hand off his hand, soon fiddling around the button of your jeans, popping it undone and unzipping it as well, whispering. Whimpering, you soon cried as he bit down roughly on your neck, while driving his hand down your pants and underwear. Let's just say that night you learned the very hard way what happens when you try to run for the first time.